Yo, welcome to the wonderful world of HungryHeath. Now, I am not a classically trained chef. What I am is a self-taught home cook. I have studied under several television chefs. I have a PhD from YouTube University and a black belt Google Food. I love to cook. The only thing I love more than cooking is my wife, the sensational Shelly Eats Steak. Together we host what we like to call the Friday Night Feast. Now this happens every Friday night, 6:30 Central. We'll go live. We'll cook up an entree, maybe a couple little snacks. We'll show y'all how to do it, and then we'll just sit around and chew the fat with all of our friends in the Hungry Horde. We hope you can tune in sometime. We have a blast every single week. Today's recipe was my beautiful bride flying solo, meal prepping for us for this whole week for our lunches. What'd you make, babe?
So, if you watch the Friday Night Feast in one of the many parts, this Friday night we made a Hasselback caprese chicken.
Oh, it's
So
amazing.
that left us with tomatoes and, of course, cheese, chicken, and basil, fresh basil. So I thought, what would be something we could do with chicken? Because we have several bags of chicken going on sale. So I was like, well, I can use 2 bags, which would come out to roughly 6 pounds, but we did use some Friday night. And what can I do with it? So I decided to make a creamy chicken with sun-dried tomatoes. So this is a meal prep. So again, it's I would say 5.5 pounds of chicken breast, boneless, skinless. I'm gonna do it in the Instant Pot. Gonna be so easy and so delicious, and just a great change to our routine for lunches for the week.
And didn't you decide this because a couple of weeks ago we got it a really good deal at Kroger? That's why we bought it all?
That's why we bought all the chicken.
Yeah.
And then I just was wanting something, because we typically, as you've seen, do a lot of burgers or just ground beef. And I was like, what can we do with the chicken to kind of change things up than just baked chicken? So I thought, well, let's try this creamy sun-dried tomato recipe, which went great with the leftover basil to add into that.
That's all gone now?
Yeah, I used
Nice.
it all.
I love using stuff up.
Plus bacon, since chicken is so lean, so the bacon will definitely add the much needed fat in the dish. And then I am making this dairy free. So if you're dairy free or limited dairy like I do, instead of using heavy cream, I'm going to use coconut milk. So you can use
Awesome.
any basically cream that you want. So you could definitely use the recipe with heavy cream. Or you could just use coconut cream if you could find that sugar-free, or coconut milk, which is what I used. So let's go ahead and get started and show you what it is. For this week's meal prep, which I'm so excited about, I don't usually get excited about chicken, but I thought this sounded like a really good recipe to try. And it's creamy sun-dried tomato shredded chicken. We're just going to use our Instant Pot, so you'll need that. And then I've got chicken here, chicken breast. We happened to get these on sale at Kroger a while back. And let's see, so each bag is 3 pounds. So that's going to be roughly 6 pounds. Now, I did take out a couple chicken breasts for our Friday night feast. So this one's a little less than 3. So I'd say roughly 5 to 5.5 pounds. And then you'll need a package of bacon. And then for our seasonings, I've just got an Italian seasoning blend. So any type of Italian seasoning would work. And then just some, I make our own salt, pepper, garlic. Just equal parts salt, pepper, and garlic. So that's our main seasonings. And then also you'll need some sun-dried tomatoes. Now, I'm only going to use half of this package of the sun-dried tomato. And then now for the creamy part, you could use heavy cream. That would definitely work as well. If you're trying to be dairy-free, which I am still trying to limit my dairy, especially when it comes to heavy cream. So I'm going to use coconut milk. So you can either get coconut cream, you can find that sugar-free, or just some coconut milk will work as well. And then also some fresh basil. Again, we have it left over, so I might as well use it. And then, of course, to spice things up, because we like the spicy things, we're going to add some jalapenos. That's purely optional. You can leave that off, but we like to have, you know, a little bit of heat. Now, what you're going to start off doing is first making bacon chips. So, like how Dr. Barry and Nisha, I'll show you. We'll just put that in the Instant Pot, do some bacon chips, and then we'll pull those out. That's going to be like our topper each day. But I like to get all of that wonderful, delicious bacon fat to then put all the chicken in. So this is going to be great. Let me set up getting the bacon chips going, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I have my Instant Pot on a saute setting. And then I just opened my package of bacon. I'm just going to grab like a handful and then just start cutting, you know, nice sized chips there. They're probably about 1.5 inches. And it's okay that it's a big clump of them, because once I start stirring and everything, that'll break it up. And I just want them nice sized, because when we're going to be adding this to our chicken, I want it to be good size chunks so you can actually see the bacon, right? I'm more into like seeing what all is in the food, like especially bacon. This is so yummy. I want to see those pieces of bacon. I don't want to have little chips basically here or there. I don't want bacon chips. I want nice bacon, well, that is bacon chips too. But anyway, chips have double meaning apparently. So I'm thinking like chocolate chips, but then there's also like potato chips. So I'm thinking I want more like the potato chip size, but it's still going to shrink down, y'all. So let me wash my hands and I'll show you what this looks like. So here's all my bacon. And then what I have found works the best with this, a couple of them stuck, but basically just stir a lot. And the good thing too with doing the chips in the Instant Pot, the Instant Pot is deep enough to where it's not going to splatter so much. So I know like Dr. Barry kind of used a Dutch oven, but I find the Instant Pot works great for this too, as it is a deeper pot. And you see the bacon, they're coming apart. And this is probably, ooh, sorry y'all. This will probably take about 10 minutes or so. So just keep, you know, stirring it in there. You don't want it to get stuck. And this is going to give some great fat for the chicken to cook in. And that's basically our fat source for this. And then the coconut milk will have some fat too. So I just sliced my jalapenos up. I did them in slices because, again, I want to see them in the dish. And then for the fresh basil, just going to do a rough chop. Again, I want to be able to see this beautiful fresh basil. Now the basil, I'm not going to add in until after everything's cooked, because fresh basil, I don't want to like overcook it, right? I want it as a nice accent to the dish and to have that nice pop of color. And there's the fresh basil. Smells so good, y'all. Sometimes getting fresh herbs smells wonderful and really adds an intense flavor there. Okay, so brand new, this is the sun-dried tomatoes. Now it does have clean ingredients. It's just California sun-dried tomatoes, Italian basil again, and then prepared with some sulfur dioxide. Now this can be kind of carby. It's 3 grams and there's 17 servings in here. Now I'm just going to do half of this. But now this is a meal prep for the whole week. So that's going to be 12 meals off of that. So this is roughly 8.5 servings. So yeah, that's a little carby, but when you think about it, that's going to be less than a serving per person. And this will add such a great flavor. Now, sometimes you can get the sun-dried tomato, like preserved in a can. I didn't check those, or not preserved, but you know, they're in an oil. I just got this bag because I didn't want to have to deal with the oils and stuff and checking to see if those are clean. Alright, just a rough chop. Again, I want to be able to see all this beautiful sun-dried tomato. And that's it. So I'm waiting, the bacon's almost done. And then we can move on to the next step. Oh, look at all those chips, y'all. So this is why I like having a fish spatula. So that basically helps drain the fat as well. And again, I'm not going to add this to my chicken now. It's going to be a great topper after it's cooked. So I'm just going to scoop all this out and look at all that wonderful bacon fat. Oh my gosh. It'll be so good with this because this is chicken breast. And it's the boneless, skinless chicken breast. So there's hardly any fat. So we definitely have to have a good fat source. And what better fat source than bacon fat, right? Ooh, yeah. Perfect. I love the way these turned out. They're going to be great crispies with this. Add a good texture to the dish. And then I'm just going to... turning that off the saute now because I don't want it on the saute. But... let me get my tongs. Okay, so I'm just going to start putting the chicken in here. Of course, it will sizzle, right, as it cooks a little bit. And we're going to be shredding this chicken, so that's why it doesn't matter so much how it looks there. And since that's almost a layer with the first bag, go ahead and do my salt, pepper, and garlic. Generous with that. And then my Italian seasoning blend. This just, we ran out of like a container, so we made our own. Basically oregano, some basil, tarragon. I put some red pepper flakes in that, as well as some paprika. Okay, and then I'm just going to add the second thing of chicken, and then we'll be ready. Okay, this is my second layer of the chicken. Again, I'm going to season it really well with my salt, pepper, and garlic blend. And then my Italian seasoning blend. Just be generous. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? And then I'm going to go ahead, add in those jalapenos. And then add in all of the sun-dried tomatoes. And I am going to give this, just because some of those at the bottom already got the bacon fat in it. Just going to stir it up. And get the bacon fat on all of the pieces, right? Oh yeah, it's going to be so good, y'all. Nice. Sorry. Alright, and then this is when you would either add, I would say like a good half cup of heavy cream, or in this case, I'm going to add the coconut milk. So let me get that in here. And I'm just going to do this whole can because I want this to be extra creamy. Okay, and see it's already got the cream, cream at the top here. So let me pour that in. That's gonna be so good. Make sure you get all that cream off. So that's what you want. That cream's the best part. That's where all the yummy fat is. And this is just coconut milk. I made sure I got where there was none of the sugars added because, yeah, some of the coconut creams do have sugars in them. So you want to make sure you're good if you are buying any of the coconut cream, to make sure that it's not the kind with the sugars in it. So unfortunately at our HEB, all the ones we had here did have sugar, so I just went with the coconut milk. And then again, if you're good with dairy, you can certainly do the heavy cream. Okay, so that's all I have to do here. So let me change this and just show you what else I'm going to do. So I'm going to let this go for manual. And it's still stuck on 5. But I want to do it for 60 minutes. And then I'm going to do natural release. Now with chicken breast, it's not going to take that long for that to get to where it will shred. Because this is boneless and skinless. And 60 minutes should be perfect. Natural release. I always do natural release on all of my meats. Alright, see you in about an hour. Okay, I've let it be at natural release now for about 16 minutes. And, oh, y'all, this looks so good. I'm going to pull that out. I know it's really hot. You're going to want to get, we have these claws for shredding. Or you could use forks or, you know, something else. But these are really nice. Let's see. Show the bear paw. It works really great, especially like for pork butts and so forth. So let me zoom in on this wonderful meat for you. Look, that chicken is perfect. Oh, it's already starting to come apart. So I'm just going to pull these out, put them in like a little dish. It just makes it easier to shred them than trying to shred them in the actual Instant Pot. Oh, wow. This smells so good, y'all. Look how tender that chicken is. It's just falling apart. It's going to be so easy to shred. And again, this is why I like meal prepping. It just makes things easier. It's so much easier to stay on task. You know, with eating, you know, especially with us both working from home, it just helps us stay on program where we're not going to be worried about, oh, great, now we're hungry. We're just going to sneak into the kitchen and grab something. Since we know we got our meals planned out, it just makes it so much easier to just stick to our meal plan. And then, you know, gives you something to, you know, look forward to all week long. Okay, that's all those. So let me show you the chicken here. Right there. And you see I still got my bacon and the basil in the background. So with these, you just kind of, as Heath would say, I needed a bigger bowl. I'm just terrible about that. But look how easy this is shredded, y'all. This is so good. And then all of those juices, the fat, the milk, the cream, I'm going to put all of this back in there. Oh, wow. It's just shredding perfectly, y'all. It's so tender. And then all of those juices and the cream and the milk from the coconut, that's going to get into all the shredded chicken and really incorporate in there, leaving this juicy all week long. Again, this should make, we basically try to plan on 12 meals because he works Sundays, but he's off on Fridays and I work Fridays. So we try to get it to where we have 6 meals, 6 meal preps for each of us. So that's 12 meals a week. So having something that's easy and quick just makes it so much easier. We have, just set lunches of 30 minutes, which even working from home, it just isn't long enough, right? Let us know below if you have 30-minute lunches or if you get a longer time period. And then what I'm going to do is just start some of this chicken that's already shredded. I'm just going to stick back in there. So they should have where you can kind of grab a handful here like that. Put it back in there. So I'm just going to keep working on shredding this chicken and putting it back in, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So I've got all that shredded chicken. Just going to give it a good toss, really toss everything in there so all of the cream and the fat and the juices, which have all that great seasoning, really incorporate into all of this chicken. Oh yeah, that looks good. Now if you do the heavy cream instead of the coconut milk, then of course it's going to be thicker and a little creamier because that did have the milk in there, which is kind of the way. Now, how I enter this into like my macros, I can use Chronometer or even Carb Manager. I put in the whole recipe. So like I put in all of the chicken, the whole can of the coconut milk, the amount of the sun-dried tomatoes, jalapenos, I put that in the bacon. I put all of that into it, and then I figure, okay, I'm going to get 12 servings out of this, and then I just do, that it's going to be 12 servings, and that way it figures it all up. So now that we've got that all well tossed, I'm going to add back in my bacon. That bacon looks so good. And then our fresh basil. Because again, that basil is going to start getting lip just from the residual heat. Let's toss that really well in there. And then what's good about this, it's like with the Instant Pot, you put your cover on it and then heat it up each day, or you can go ahead and section it out for each day if you want. But because there's so much juices, that's really going to help keep this moist all week long. So I'm going to go ahead and get this served up for us for our lunch today, and then we'll let you know how it is. Well, here we go. We've got it, and we're going to have a little taster.
This looks amazing.
Right?
Oh, it's still hot, too.
Yeah.
Burn my mouth. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that has a little bit of creaminess. Again, with heavy cream, it's going to be a lot creamier. Right. Or if you find the coconut cream, definitely. But this is still really good and got a lot of moisture in it, so it's going to stay very juicy. And then I definitely get the sun-dried tomato. Yeah. Adds a good depth of flavor. The basil gives it that freshness, which I feel like, kind of really good for spring.
I really like the bacon in it too.
Yeah, because it's still crispy, which is nice. So it adds a different texture to it. Now, I did add some of the Redmond's smoked salt. And then I got a little bit of the Flat Iron Pepper Company that I can't feel my face. Yeah. Just because, the jalapenos are good, but for us it's a very mild flavor, where this is going to take it up a notch with that Flat Iron pepper seasoning. And
then also when I buy the jalapenos, I'll usually pick up the bigger ones because I like stuffing them. And most of y'all know, the bigger the pepper is, the less intense the heat is. So it only lends a little bit of heat. We'll try another piece.
Wow,
Another
that's
bite.
so good. Now with the flat iron pepper, now that gives a good tingle of the heat.
Yes.
That's perfect. I love it. I think this is a great lunch for us this week.
Yeah.
So it'll have some fat in it, which is good from the bacon fat that we used. Again, that's definitely incorporated into all of this. And the longer it sits in the Instant Pot with all of those flavors, the richer the flavor will be going throughout the week. Sun-dried tomato definitely gives a great flavor. It just reminds me of spring. I feel like this is like a spring dish. Creaminess, the chicken, everything's just very light, and this is a great protein meal. So you're going to get that high protein with the chicken, plus you'll have it'll have a good amount of carb. It's still low carb. Like when I put it in all in my tracker, it ended up, I think, being 6 total carbs a serving.
Really good.
Which I think is, for a whole meal, that's a good thing. It's still going to be higher on the fat because of the coconut milk. And if you use coconut cream or heavy cream, that'll increase the fats even more. Then plus all of that bacon fat. Because remember, put all that chicken in that bacon fat. Oh my gosh, it just really adds that good, luscious fat flavor, which a lot of times I feel with chicken breast, it can get bland.
Yeah.
And because there's not any fat, it really doesn't have a real scrumptious flavor. But with this, all of that bacon fat just infused in the meat really makes it tasty. And then when you get the bits of the bacon chips in there, that's a nice added texture of fat as well.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to this every day this week.
Awesome. Well, I hope this is another great meal prep video. Gave you guys some ideas. Let us know what else you would like us to make for a meal prep. Or I'm always open to try new things. We have lots of ground beef. So if you have a ground beef suggestion, let us know below.
And don't forget, every Friday night we'll go live for the Friday night feast. This happens 6:30 Central, where we cook up an entree, maybe a couple little snacks. We'll show y'all how to do it, and we just spend the rest of the evening just chewing the fat with all of our friends in the Hungry Horde. We hope y'all can tune in. Don't forget on your way out to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done that already. And thanks for watching. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye.